the vehicles drive on the right hand side. I've had a chat with some people already and mentioned to them that the longer you have your vehicle in Bolivia, the less road tax that you pay. So there's a lot of black smoke and black fumes coming out of the exhaust. You don't want to be too close to the vehicles, okay? Where we cycle on the right hand side, so we're in the right lane right now, on the outside of the road there is a white line. You always want to be on the inside of the white line, never be on the outside of the white line. If you're on the outside, there's broken bottles, a lot of debris, and there's not much kind of paved road, and you're close to the edge, okay? You want to be on the inside of the white line, roughly 1 or 2 foot away from it. That's the safest place to be. So if you're too close to the middle of the lane or even the middle of the road because you're feeling more nervous, you need to slow down and control your speed and make sure you're close to the white line. These drivers think they're like Michael Schumacher. They come up the road bombing it, they overtake on a blind corner, they come right into the middle of our lane. If you're in the middle of the lane, you're going to get a really big fright. You need to make sure you're near the white line, okay? We do have some couples. We have a almost honeymooner kind of engaged.
Almost married.
Okay, you're in love, that's great, I'm happy for you. But we do not cycle next to each other. And when we leave, the rule I normally do is kind of like universal. So if Shay's going to leave first, and you're leaving second, you're just going to count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then go. If each person does that, you're going to have the adequate amount of distance between each other. So if one person falls, we don't end up with a Tour de France pileup. Okay, that's not what we want. We don't have enough first aid equipment for that. All right. Never follow the back wheel of anyone either. So if I'm cycling, I want to be making my own line. I never want to be looking at the person in front of me. Maybe they do something wrong and I follow them. I'm going to make the same mistake as them. Okay. Even with Remy, okay, so Remy's done the road hundreds, maybe thousands of times. You don't want to be too close to him, you want to give him a lot of room. So when he leaves, please remember the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi rule, okay? For Aussies, it's a bit different. We do 1 survive, 2 survive, only for Aussies, okay? So that's pretty much it about the road. The last thing is overtaking, okay? So I would rather we didn't overtake each other too much because some people are more nervous and uncomfortable. So we're going to figure out in the first 2 sections roughly who's going to be the fastest and who's going to be the slowest and who's going to be in the middle, and maybe you're going to find someone that you like cycling behind because they're giving you a lot of room and you're giving them a lot of room. So we're going to try and keep it that the whole day, but that's not a rule. If you want to overtake, it's fine. Never overtake on the outside, always overtake on the left hand side on this road, on the inside, okay? You do not need to vocalize it, it's pretty hard to hear, but this is why we don't have the full face helmets. We have the half shell helmet so your peripheral vision is not impaired and also your hearing, okay? But if you're feeling more uncomfortable, before we leave, pull me aside, or after the first section, pull me aside. I have full face helmets I can give you, and also elbow pads and knee pads as an option, if you want them, alright? We're going to do the blessing now. Everybody's going to be their favourite part of the day, okay? So what we do is 96% alcohol, I'm not exaggerating, right? So, Pachamama, Mother Earth, it's not religious or anything, just a bit of a blessing. They do take this quite seriously here. Bit on the front wheel, I don't want to break my collarbone. Bit on the bike is a blessing. Last but not least. That doesn't get old. Okay. So, Pachamama, just sprinkle. Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on, everybody. Front wheel, bike, and then we'll drink. Years ago, you can see the rusty minibus down there on the rocks. So this is just to give you a bit of an insight. These things do happen, you need to be careful, okay? So I did mention we have to overtake on the left hand side. We never overtake on the outside. So I couldn't catch up with some of you guys to tell you that. Never go past a vehicle on the right hand side. He may cut you off when he's giving you room to overtake and there's nowhere for you to go. So you just go, always overtake on the left like we done, the people that done it with me. Remy's going to wait for you and go into the opposite lane and let you overtake with them, or I'm going to wait for you and go into the opposite lane and let you overtake with me. So it's much safer to do it that way, alright? If you feel comfortable overtaking on your own, that's fine, go for it, just don't do it before a corner. Everything looked good. I would say the back kind of 7 or 8 people, you were way too close together. So you need to overtake that person. If you're getting too close to them, overtake them and go ahead of them, and you're going to work out where you need to be in the group. It's a lot safer, okay? If you want to come together, we'll get a group picture with the view. I'm just going to wear one layer. I'm just going to wear shorts and a t-shirt. So,
Thanks, sorry.
be static. We're not going to stop that much. We will stop for pictures and have a chat, but you're not going to notice the cold, okay? So we're going to be out of this little part of the mist that we're in the now, in maybe like a couple of minutes at our first stop. It's going to gradually get very, very hot, okay? So you do have the opportunity to delayer throughout the day on the bus, but personally, I recommend to every client, I always say this, you wear one layer and the gravity jacket all day, okay? It's a bad joke, but gravel is a very good skin remover, okay? If you decide to wear a t-shirt and shorts like me and you fall and you get a big gravel rash, I need to scrape out all the dirt. So it's not fun for me, it's not fun for you. If you keep the jacket and trousers on, you have a little bit of extra padding. Right now, you're not going to have a problem with that. Later on the death road, you may have a problem with that because it's going to be really hot. But like I said earlier, if the worst thing that happens is maybe you get sore hands from braking so much and you get a bit sweaty from keeping your layers on, it's a good day in comparison to some of the other things.
Is this next bit going to be a lot warmer than what we just did?
Yeah, so it's gradually going to get very hot. We're descending into the jungle. Right. I've only seen 5 groups today. I think there's like 5, maybe 7 ahead of us. Barracuda behind us, Barracuda in front of us, so we're all good. You know, like technically, if something really bad happened and I had to send our bus away with a client, which has happened before, someone just like fell and broke something, we just partner up with Barracuda anyway. So like it's good to have them in front and behind us. So and they're going to ride safely, and it's quite dangerous this section, this road, because people don't know how to overtake correctly. I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. Okay, we're all here. Okay, if you first of all, nice and easy on the brakes, okay? I don't really need to say much more. I don't want to overload you with information. You've got comfortable with the bikes. Just keep building your trust with them. Remember now, this is why mainly why I told you how to get on and off the bike safely, okay? Step over the bike, pull the bike up, and same when you're getting off the bike, put it down like that, okay? The reason for that is, I'm going to tell you why in a second, but we are cycling on the left-hand side. So some of you might be thinking, who the fuck is this Scottish guy in socks and sandals telling me to ride on the outside of the road, okay? I didn't make the rules up, but this is why. So what you're going to do is when you put the bike down, you're going to step off to the right-hand side. It's going to be really obvious because you're not going to want to step off near a 400-metre cliff, okay? Doesn't sound too promising. Start the day. So, really gentle with the brakes, progressively. Really control your speed with the brakes, okay, especially before the corners. It is the same as the asphalt. I would encourage you to try and let go of the brakes and build your confidence when there's not so many corners, but it's up to you. We'll just see how you're doing. The reason I said it's not the best kind of technique to be braking in the corners is if you're going fast and you're still braking in the corners, sometimes your back wheel can skid out a little bit, which is natural, it's normal. This is what happens on gravel roads for mountain biking, but if you've not really mountain biked before, you're not going to be used to that, okay? You might get a bit of a fright. So also we will have people like this, so some locals doing the death road. They don't know the rules or anything, so we need to be careful with them. In regards to the bike, are we all fine with the bike? We're all comfortable with how we change our gears and everything? Okay, everybody changes gears the same way. The one closest to you makes it easier, the one furthest away is harder. Everyone wants to be in the hardest gear, so you're going to click that as many times as possible. Apart from our child's bike over there, works a little bit differently for Shay. So you know that already, okay? The one section you do need to change the gears, I'm going to tell you beforehand, so that I just reiterate it so you're aware of how to change gears. There'll only be one section you'll need to pedal for, and it's not for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. The road. So now to clarify why we're cycling on the outside. Some of you have already asked some of the questions relating to it, but from the 1930s until maybe the late 90s, early 21st century, there was no new road. This is the only road going to Brazil. Lots of big trucks on it. It's said in estimated figures up to 350 vehicles went off the road per year because of accidents. So they wanted to change the rules. They said, okay, first of all, you're coming head to head and there's no give way. People coming down are going too fast and people are just getting pissed off in general because there's no give way, no one wants to move. You've been driving for a day or 2 days, eating coca leaves, you're really like crabbit and tired. So they said, vehicles coming down, you go too fast, you cause most of the accidents, we need you to give way to the outside of the road. So this is why we do that, that's number one. Number two is the driver's steering wheel. Santi is on the left hand side, he can see around the corners and kind of premeditate the decision he's going to make. And most importantly, Santi can look out of his window on the left hand side and see how close he is to the cliff edge. So it's a lot safer for him to give way than someone else when their steering wheel is on the opposite side. So unfortunately, that's the rules of the road. I've never seen an accident because someone is cycling on the left hand side. Okay, it's not dangerous at all. You're not going to be right close to the edge. There is going to be somewhat of a tyre track for about 60 or 70% of the road because of the buses going down every day. We're going to try and follow that tyre track on the left hand side because it's a lot safer to do so, okay? Mainly, give each other a lot of room, follow the tyre track, don't go too close to the edge. Please do not go in the middle or the right hand side of the road. Harry, if you come in a bit as a vehicle passing. The reason for this is, okay, so like with the other companies, Altitude and the Power Rangers and that, they're told, okay, if you're nervous, ride in the middle of the road. If you're really, really nervous, ride on the right hand side of the road. This is a bad idea. First of all, for your own safety, because you can't see around the corners, okay? You don't know what's coming, and mainly for other people, okay? This is why it pisses me off. So if someone's cycling on the right hand side of the road, where do you overtake? You have to overtake them on the outside. What if they cut you off? You've got nowhere to go. So we always need everyone to be on the left and overtaken on the right. We now vocalize it. This is kind of why Gravity use the half shell helmets. So like I said earlier, your peripheral vision and your hearing's not impaired. You're now just going to go overtaking on the right, passing on the right, out of courtesy for our own group and every other group, so that you're letting people know that you're passing them, because they might be really nervous, okay? There may be some groups that only have one guide in the front, and they only do the whole Death Road in 3 stops, and they leave the person at the back on their own for quite a while. What sometimes happens is you're cycling up behind them and you shout overtaking on your right, they're really nervous, they only hear right, they move to the right, and then you have to overtake on the left, okay? This is a problem. You can overtake on the left, okay? You're all fully grown adults, use your own initiative of when to do it, but please don't overtake on the left if you feel like it's going to be like a dodgy corner, or I don't know, something with the cyclist in front of you is wobbling everywhere. Just take your time, okay? Think about other people. Not everybody's really confident doing this. Not everyone brings their own helmet, okay? Some people are going to be a bit more nervous, alright? That's pretty much the rules of the road. Vehicles, I've already said it, but there may be a Jeep, there may be a motorcycle, tourist, there's mostly going to be buses. 99% of the bus drivers are really courteous to the cyclists. If you're staying behind them, don't worry, they will stop when it's safe for them to stop, and they'll let you overtake, alright? Any questions about the road, the rules of the road mainly? We know we're on the left hand side, we're only overtaking on the right hand side, giving each other a lot of room, and easy on the brakes is the most important things. Yeah? Everyone looks scared